Welcome to our Power Hour today on guest speakers in the classroom. I am Elizabeth Choice, the Senior Manager of Education for Young Entrepreneur Institute. As I embrace my role here at YEI after 22 years as an elementary teacher, I fully appreciate how valuable it is to see new and different ways to use available resources for the classroom. Including guests coming into our classroom. Our music today was the well-known Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast. As we discuss guests coming into our classroom, and we obviously want to give them a warm welcome when we do have them to connect with the students. Our opening question, as you can see, is how have you used speakers in your classroom? Feel free to drop any ways that you have had guest speakers come in the chat here. We can kind of see different ways that different educators have used speakers in the classroom. Today, we have a wealth of information about various ways to find and bring speakers into the classroom. We have many different sources, and we are here to guide you through what the best methods are for you, how to schedule and prepare in easy steps without cost or stress. The online platform Yippee has a host of speakers, curriculum, and other resources that can be purchased for points by educators. It's a grant-funded resource and for many types of materials, which means that it is free to the educator. During the program today, we are going to start off with suggestions on how to find and schedule speakers through Yippee. If you have not yet investigated or registered on the Yippee website, please stay at the end of the hour. We can give you more information and answer questions that you might have. And while we hear from our presenters with different suggestions on how to find and use the speakers, please note that in all of these cases, we are talking about speakers for a class or out of school group to support a specific learning objective. Events like Career Day are not what we are discussing today. So our guests, our speakers, first we have Ann Rebar, who is the STEAM building coach at Incarnate Word Academy in Parma Heights. She advises STEAM teachers through the schools of the Diocese of Cleveland and also promotes this work as a facilitator for the Ohio STEM Learning Network. She is a longtime friend of YEI and has been a Yippee ambassador and has used Yippee for resources, including some of the guest speaker opportunities found there. And she is going to share some of her wonderful experiences with us today. After Ann, we will hear from Ethan Holmes, who has an inspirational entrepreneurial journey, starting his own business at the age of 15. He has won awards and competitions and is one of the speakers Ann will highlight. Ethan will talk about his role as a Yippee speaker, as well as some of the other opportunities he has to offer. Next, we will hear from Patty Owens, who works with the Young Entrepreneur Institute on the Youth Entrepreneur Market Program, as well as the YEI Free Speakers Bureau. She will walk us through how to find and use the Speakers Bureau, as well as some tips and tricks for educators on how to connect with your programming and prepare your students for the visit. Finally, Robin Eisen will talk to us about another avenue for finding classroom speakers. Robin is in charge of special projects at YEI and is putting the finishing touches on a toolkit for creating a classroom speaker series using resources from the EntrepreNEW curriculum. She will give us an overview of that toolkit as well as delve into how you can navigate the integration of community guest speakers in your program. Just a quick reminder that we will be recording this, and the recording, slides, and links from this Power Hour will be sent to you after the program. Please feel free to ask questions during the presentation in the Zoom chat. Ann, would you like to kick us off about your experiences in the classroom?
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Sure that's coming up. There we go. Thanks, everyone. Hello. And here we go. Thanks for that little delay jumping back. Okay, so I'm here to talk about using entrepreneurial speakers in the classroom. Thanks to your Entrepreneur Institute and then further on to Yippee Marketplace, I've had even more opportunities to do this. And I want to start with one of the speakers, Loie Bundy Sickle, and she's a children's author. She has a really interesting story. Her background was business. Then she felt compelled to go into writing children's books. So this is one of the books featured here that she did, and we engage with her in a lot of ways. The picture book, The Cookie Queen, she does a virtual storytelling with this book that she wrote about Tate's cookies. And this is great for the littles. You're never too young to embrace this kind of learning. It gets the kiddos to think about the design cycle. And that's really what compels me to this work. It's very STEM. Entrepreneurial thinking is very STEM. You're using design thinking all across the curriculum. We also use Loey in other grades because ELA as a launch is really interesting to me. And I love this idea of the speaking skills. Some people call them the soft skills. And I don't know. I think they can be just as rigorous as math and science in so many ways. So I don't want to read this word for word for you here, but it really goes across the curriculum, and it's easy to find things with Loey that fit different grade bands in our school. So that's what's great. We looked at, Loey has this series of how an idea led to something. So this is how an idea led to Disney. And it's really interesting. And the kiddos, again, looking at design thinking and just everything that in the story of how Disney became to be and how it started and the journey is just fascinating. And that's an image from our little Zoom there with Loey in our fourth grade class. And again, she has that whole series. So that's a picture of Loey when she was Zooming with us for the Disney. But we've even used this in like small literature groups where kids kind of pick the one that interests them. As you can see, some kids are really into Lego, some are into Nike, but just looking at the journey of how this kind of thinking in the mindsets and then becoming this organization or what have you. That brings us to Ethan, who you'll be hearing from next. Ethan is a longtime partner with us at Incarnate Word. And we just booked our next visit, so we're very excited. When Ethan comes to our school, the kiddos that have experienced Ethan speaking to them in fourth grade as eighth graders see him come through the hall, and they're just all cheering and high-fiving him. So Ethan's story is amazing because it's firsthand how he went through these ideas, and he talks to the kiddos about what he thought was going to be his business and why it didn't become his business. And he goes through steps of successful entrepreneurs with the kiddos. And we are really compelled to teach this work because of just that. We have our charisms at Incarnate Word Academy, and so many of them are right in line with entrepreneurial mindsets. So bringing up these ideas of risk taking and failure are so important from the kiddos to hear from someone in the field. So that's one of the big reasons we bring them in. And just that business acumen that Ethan brings in too, and talking about always revisiting the recipe and what can we do to make it better, and where do you have to sometimes pivot, and just all of these principles that come along are amazing for the kiddos to learn. And again, I referenced this earlier with Loey, but just that design thinking process. It's so important for the kiddos to handle failure and not see failure as a negative thing. How do you have success if you haven't experienced failure, is how I feel. And we want the kiddos to see that success is so much sweeter when you have experienced failure. And this has just led to, I mean, just watching Ethan's journey with our school, just watching it, we just feel like Ethan's homegrown in so many ways, and we just feel like he's family at this point. So to see the success and where his applesauce is going has just been amazing. And another partner into the classroom is Marisa. She is a puppet storyteller. And again, speaking with the littles is so important, building these habits of mind right at the beginning. And we do this in such creative ways with Marisa, like having the puppets have a problem that the students have to maybe advise or think about. And last year, the students responded to this experience by kind of working through responses to problems that the puppets were having. And then we had Marisa come back, and they shared their solutions to these things like the flying squirrel not being able to quite fly to the other tree and things like this. So it was amazing. And the kiddos actually made their own book as a classroom community. So this is amazing too, because aside from just the mindsets, it really builds this classroom culture in social emotional learning ways that may be an unexpected golden nugget, if I could say it like that. Kiddos that maybe weren't normally sharing are now sharing and responding. Some of the kiddos that I've had that have done the pitch challenge are kiddos that are getting support services, and here they are. This is giving them a different opportunity, and they're the ones that go the whole distance in some ways. So I can't emphasize that enough either. Those unexpected rewards. Here we are again with that interactive storytelling, and you could see there the engagement. I love this picture because these are kiddos that sometimes are really quiet and don't share in the classroom. So it's really capturing that. And it also brings these very personalized experiences as well. I'm going to stop sharing. I think that's the end of my screen there. But I think all of those speakers and more, there's so many more we could speak to. It really allows kids to express themselves in personalized ways too. I hope that wasn't too rushed there. I was really like rolling through it, but I can see if there's any questions.
No, yeah, that was, I mean, just to talk about, different voices in the classroom. And I love how the kids had different responses too, right? Like the message of the different speakers, but also just responding differently to the different environments and different experiences. And I love that because providing new and different opportunities does get, the kids engaged that sometimes aren't always. And I love that the thread through several speakers of having that design thinking and that message to kids that it to push through the failure, right? And the resilience and the grit that takes to not just hear it from the person they see every day, but from new people is great. Are there any questions for Anne? You can also drop them in the chat and we can circle back. So thank you so much. Next up, we have Ethan. Not only is Ethan owner of Holmes Made Foods, he's on the entrepreneur in residence at the Urban League Small Business Development Center. On top of his awards, he was selected by the Cleveland Foundation to receive investments as part of the Cleveland Chain Reaction. Ethan, I'm going to turn it over to you to build off of Anne's encouraging words and your perspective as a speaker.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you, Anne, for the kind words, and thank you everybody for being here this afternoon. A little bit about myself. We'll kind of learn that, but today's presentation is called Entrepreneurship Through Applesauce Workshop. It's kind of giving you a summary of some of the things that we discuss if you decide to sign up for our workshop via Yippee. So just a little bit about myself, as I mentioned, I went to a school called Hiram College, studied business management. So I think it's really important, and I teach this to students, that school offers resources, a chance for you to learn more about yourself, what you want to do in life. And so I've been able to do that. And I speak to the students about that, as well as, being able to be exposed to a lot of different programming throughout the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Cleveland. A little bit more about myself. We currently sell to about 500 plus locations. We've raised a little over $1 million from different funders, investors. So I really can speak just from different perspectives of starting this business at 15 years old and growing it to now I'm 31 years old. And here I am actually pictured with Hamdi Ulukaya. He's been a great mentor. He's actually the founder of Chobani Yogurt. A little bit about my story for those of you that have not heard this, and I know a lot of you have, but I was inspired by my grandfather. He's actually 93 this year, will be 93. He showed me how to make applesauce, and he showed me his recipe. I said, this is great. How about I bottle this and try to bring it to the market? But I really didn't know where to start, didn't actually know how to make applesauce. So I had to spend a lot of time with him, learning that process, learning how to improve on it. And I also speak to students about that as well, product development, R&D, research and development. Eventually in 2015, we have launched the brand regionally. I was a college student. We got into stores like Heinen's, Giant Eagle, Whole Foods. We're able to grow credibility, work with our community to eventually grow and expand to other places. Here is our new product line, which, we're very proud to be actually introducing to students. And if you sign up for our workshop, which we'll go over in a second, each student will receive a pouch of our applesauce. I actually took this from one of our business presentations. So a lot of this info you don't need, but it's shelf stable, single serve, also a healthy product with no added sugar. So we're really about helping those that are in food deserts, exposing children to healthy eating while also having a great taste. Now, some of the topics that we'll be discussing in my workshop is thinking with an entrepreneurial mindset. I think that's very important, whether a student decides to be an entrepreneur as a career, or maybe they want to work in healthcare, whatever. I think it's important to have that mindset no matter where you go. Again, we touched on product development, understanding, okay, I have an idea, how do I figure out, my recipe, my formulation, the pricing to bring this to the market, and, even going back to get feedback from others, testing the market. Marketing and branding, it's one of my favorite parts the students really enjoy. We play games. We go over, what is this logo? What is a jingle? What is a slogan? What is a mascot? So I think those are really important terms. Operations and manufacturing. This is really new to a lot of these students. It's even new to a lot of adults, just the process of B2B, business to business, business to consumer. How does that all work from manufacturing to distributor to actually getting the product on the shelf? So that's something that we're really proud of that we're able to expose the students to. Bootstrapping. What do I do? I'm an entrepreneur. I make cupcakes, but I don't have any money. What do I do? How do I get started? And I always teach the kids that you can leverage things without actually having money. So if you have a product and they enjoy it, maybe you can go and leverage that with Heinen's, that they'll send you an order and then you can get the ingredients based on that order. You know what I mean? And that's how I got started. Case studies. So we also go over other successful young entrepreneurs. And we're actually proud to be introducing about 3 or 4 more new young entrepreneur stories. Some of those entrepreneurs are actually part of the Young Entrepreneur Institute mentorship program. So again, we're really about teaching these entrepreneurs or these students that they can be entrepreneurs too. There's other entrepreneurs in their community, and that it's possible. Tailored for your curriculum. So over the years, we've done a lot of great things besides just me going into a classroom to speak and do a workshop. We also have made applesauce with students. So if that's ever an interest of you, for you, we can get some burners. I can get the ingredients and be happy to, actually have a hands-on experience with the students. Collaborations with students on marketing. Just a few months ago, we were at Orange and we actually collaborated with students and families on making our jingle. So they wrote jingles, they wrote different branding strategies for us. So that was really fun. And then we actually had the students present to myself. Mock job interviews. We're actually doing a mock job interview with Shaker Heights High School sometime next month. So allowing the students to come up with, made up job positions and pretty much me choosing, who's going to be selected for those positions, creating mock resumes, et cetera, and mock student pitches. So giving the students an opportunity to create their own business deck or business pitch and being able to present that. Great. So find us on Yippee. So, we talked a lot about Yippee. You can find us on the platform today. Our workshop starts at 300 points. And something that I'll also kind of speak on, we have some new partnerships. I didn't get a chance to put a slide on that, but we actually just partner with Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So we're offering about 200 free tickets to teachers. We just gave away 15 tickets to a school here in Cleveland for their students who won a competition. So if you need any tickets to a Monsters hockey game, anything like that, please reach out to us. We're looking for partnerships. We also are planning an Entrepreneurship Day on March 8th. And I'm actually going to speak to Yippee or YEI about that later. But so far, the date is booked. We're going to have several businesses around the community with tables, allowing up to 100 students to come to this event. So I'll be sending out information. It'll be at Rocket Mortgage, almost like a job fair where they'll be able to learn from different entrepreneurs about their industry, their experience. Then after, they'll be able to go to a game, which will be complimentary. And that'll be 2 to 4 p.m. On March 8th. So that's kind of a quick overview on Holmes Applesauce. And what I do want to do on this next slide is just open the floor to any questions that any teachers may have or specifics. I do see some things in the chat, so let's see what this is about. Okay.
I see Christy has her hand up. Christy, do you have a question?
Hi, everyone. Ethan, you have been on my list for a long time. I've been waiting to get Yippee points to get you out. That was my question. You come out to our school?
Correct. So I could come out
Okay.
to your school or wherever you need me to be. Yep.
And
Sometime.
I have 2 classes back to back. Do I download you the Yippee twice?
It would be twice, and I can do all that either with one presentation or back to back is fine.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm very excited.
And what school are you with, Christy?
North Royalton.
Okay, North Royalton. Okay, be happy to come out. Please definitely book us or reach out to me, even if you don't have the points, so we can start planning that. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I do see Kirby Douglas asked, how far do you travel? So I'm willing to travel up to 2 hours. I've gone as far as Columbus, Indiana for presentations. So definitely be willing to work with you, or we can do a virtual. Someone, Karen asked, if you come to help a class make applesauce, could we then sell the applesauce at lunch? I think that's kind of like a school board, maybe talking to your school around that far as permissions, but be happy to come out, make applesauce with the students, even kind of do a little presentation on how they can market it and package it and sell it.
I see another hand here. I'm not sure about the name. What's your question? It says roar.
You can
Hello.
unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question. If we pay for your flight, can you come to Hawaii? We'll pay for your trip. And then can you teach us to do pineapple sauce?
I actually, that's something that's like on my list. Maybe we'll do an applesauce, pineapple infusion, but would be happy to come out. Never been to Hawaii. Sounds like a great opportunity. And yeah, definitely would love that. Be excellent.
I don't know who could say no to that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I'd be happy to bring out applesauce. I can ship it to the school for the students and the faculty. We can do a big presentation for the entire school or certain grades. So happy to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be so fun for the kids because sometimes our class they get really bored with the very traditional teaching methods. So something more creative and inventive is fun for them.
Okay. So I'll be
Hands-on learning experiences, recreational activities with culinary arts, and yeah, something to help them process like the things that come up in life and at school, and to deal with like social emotional learning strategies as well to be incorporated into the teaching of this recreational activity, as well as to boost and enhance their business like knowledge. Yeah.
right. So I'll be happy to email you if you want to put your email in the chat, and maybe we can work together to collaborate on that. We could have something hands-on where we're making applesauce with the students, and we can kind of go over certain terms, the business acumen, like you mentioned. So be happy to do that with you. It sounds
Sure,
fun.
thanks. Okay, I'll
Okay.
put it in the chat.
Okay. Thank you, Roar.
I think there's a lot of assistants here who might need to be side by side with you on a trip to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You can
I
join me.
think the YEI team really supports your industry and message, so we could all go, right?
All joking aside, it sounds like a fantastic opportunity.
You can
Definitely.
all come.
It's definitely something we could record, use for our marketing. So thank you so much for being here, Roar. Appreciate it.
We'll just have to find like a GIA, a grant and aid to fund it.
Okay. Okay. Great. Does anybody have any other questions? If not, I can also put well, you have my email. I think it's on the screen somewhere at the bottom or something. But if anybody wants to reach out with any other questions, feel free to email me. Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll have all the slides and contact information in the follow-up email. So definitely, I love all the connections. That's great. And thank you for sharing. That's so many great opportunities and ways to connect to a lot of different learning objectives in classrooms. So I think most people could find a way to use that workshop really beneficially. So thank you.
Great. And thank you. And the last thing I'll say is, again, we'll be announcing that March 8th Entrepreneurship Day over the next few weeks throughout February. And if anybody needs any tickets for Monsters Hockey or Cleveland Charge, please reach out to me. It's hard to find people who want free tickets for some reason. So,
Huh.
all right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, Patty is going to pivot from the YEI speakers now and talk about the Young Entrepreneur Institute Speakers Bureau. Patty has a diverse marketing background, having worked for a global professional services firm, a health and safety startup, and doing various marketing communications. Part of her role with YEI includes working with guest speakers to share their stories in classroom environments. I'm going to pass it on to Patty.
I didn't unmute myself.
Okay. As Elizabeth said, I'm Patty Owens. I've been with the YEI a little over 2 years now, and I work on the Young Entrepreneur Market and the Speakers Bureau. So today I'm going to be talking about the Speakers Bureau. And what is unique about the YEI Speakers Bureau is it's free to anyone across the United States. We offer individuals in all different walks of life from different industries, different parts of their entrepreneurial journey. We've created a list, and I'm going to walk you through our platform in just a minute. And after I walk you through our platform, I'm going to talk about tips for preparing your students to maximize learning experience with this free resource. So, Elizabeth gave you a little bit of information about my background. I've worked in various aspects of marketing from lead gen, Marcom to events and PR. But my favorite job has been as a wife and a mother to a young entrepreneur myself. And that is how I got introduced to the Young Entrepreneur Institute back in 2017 when my son decided he wanted to make fidget spinners out of zip ties and skateboard bearings. He found the YEI, and like they say, the rest is history. So that's a little fun fact about me. Let's take a look at the Speakers Bureau. So the Speakers Bureau, like I said before, is a free service that Young Entrepreneur Institute offers, and all of our speakers are expecting a notification from you, an email from you. So if Matthew can share the website, I don't know if my link will work. Oh, it does. Yay. I love technology. So you can find our
Sorry, Patty, we
yeah.
are not seeing, we're still seeing the slide. We're not seeing the
Oh,
link.
okay.
Yeah, if you go to share screen,
There.
there
You
you go.
see
Yep,
what I know?
yep, right there.
Okay. So the Young Entrepreneur Speakers Bureau is here underneath resources, but if you type in yeiresources.com, it'll come right to this resource page that has all of a menagerie of useful information for our educators. So going back to the Speakers Bureau, um, we have uh, we have two actually entrepreneurs who've been on Shark Tank, Sarah Barnard and Evan Delaney. Sarah has also been she got funding. What makes her product unique is she came up with a device to help with making sure your drinks don't get spiked. It's she made a prototype from her mom's stockings, and it's a cover. So when you're out at a festival or in a social situation, you don't have to worry about someone spiking your drink. Granted, her talk would probably be more for an older high school crowd, but definitely she's young, she's energetic. She can talk about a passion, talking about determination, all those soft skills that were both mentioned by Ethan and prior. So this is just kind of a selection of the different individuals we have on our Speakers Bureau. So let's click in and I'll show you how you go about contacting them. Oh, so you can read their full bio and then say, hey, I want AJ to come into my classroom. So some of our speakers are local to Northeast Ohio. Sarah up here is based out of Florida, but if you're out of Northeast Ohio, they're more than willing to Zoom with you to provide a virtual visit. So if you wanted to have AJ come to see your classroom or talk to your classroom, you fill out your name, your email, phone number, your school, date and times that you have available, how many students, and a little bit about what you're looking for, and you submit it. And that's pretty much it. You know, what we're doing here is we put together a list of speakers who are ready and willing to come into the classroom, but it's really up to the teacher to drive this process. Once we
Once the educator clicks on the email and makes the connection, they take it from there. So any questions on how to use the Speakers Bureau before I move on? Oh, yes. Do you have a question, Roar?
Oh, no, my hand was still up. Thank
Your
you.
hand was still up from earlier. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to the presentation. I can figure that out here. All right. Oh, can you see my slide now? Are you seeing
No,
my no?
no, I see you. You're
You
not
see.
sharing.
Okay.
I can share this if you need.
Yeah, can you share it?
Mhm.
So
Yep, let me get it up. 1 second. I'll get to the next slide here. That one? Is that the slide you're on?
yes, thank you. Thanks for the assist.
Anytime.
Okay, so preparing students for guest speakers. Once again, it all depends on if you are a primary school educator, high school, middle school, somewhere in between. These are just some tips and tricks that we have found useful from working with some of these speakers is, you want to set clear goals for your speaker session, collaborate with the speaker on themes or topics. That's something you can do in the little comment section of the contact form I just showed you. Another thing is, have your students prepare questions in advance to ask the speaker and have your students research the speaker's website and LinkedIn to kind of have an idea of what their background is and what they're currently doing. And I thought so, in addition, people or younger students, especially, and probably older ones too, love, jobs and roles when a special guest is in the classroom. Have someone be make the introductions, someone to collect questions, someone to keep time, someone to organize a thank you note. All those tasks can be assigned to roles to kind of really pull the whole special event together as well. So that's YEI Speakers Bureau in a nutshell. And I will turn it over to Robin unless anyone has any questions.
Yeah, feel free to drop any questions you have. And like Patty said, the Speakers Bureau is more teacher guided. So, Yippee connects you with a speaker who is going to have a workshop prepared. The Speakers Bureau has a teacher and speaker working together. And Robin's going to share kind of a even more teacher-led avenue for finding and recruiting speakers. Robin has more than 20 years of experience in community building, fundraising, marketing in the commercial and nonprofit sectors. She has a passion for social justice and created Teen Up CLE, a camp for middle and high school students focused on social entrepreneurship. And I am going to let her talk about how to involve community members in a meaningful way in the classroom. Robin?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see so many familiar faces. I'm going to talk today a little bit. I'm going to be a little shorter only because what I'm showing you or what I'm going to talk to you about today is coming. It's going to be available very soon, but it's not completely ready yet. So I don't have as much to share because, like I said, it's not completely ready, but the ideas are here, and I want to make sure you guys all know about it and know how to find it. And that is the speaker series, the Educator Toolkit from the EntrepreNEW Pathways program. The EntrepreNEW Pathways program is a comprehensive turnkey entrepreneurship curriculum for high school students. It is jam-packed with a ton of really great content to help teach your entrepreneurship classes. And it is so comprehensive that YEI thought this would be, this is fantastic for someone, for an educator who is teaching a full curriculum, but for the educators who might not want to take the full curriculum, let's take out and make some toolkits that can be used for some of the great content that is in the Entrepreneurship Pathways program. So to kind of explain that, I just want to take one quick second to explain that the Pathways program really is based on three main pillars. Those are extreme exposure to entrepreneurs, mentorship from entrepreneurs and from community members, and mastery of 14 different entrepreneurship skills. So with all of that in mind, we thought that we should pull out the speaker series. The speaker series itself really helps educators connect with their community members. Specifically, it will give you as educators an idea of where to find people to come into your classroom and how to approach them. There are specific emails that it will provide you. So if you don't know what to say when you want to approach a community member, we will have those emails in this speaker, in the speaker series educational toolkit for you. It really is designed to make it easy and a step-by-step guide of where to find and how to bring in speakers into your classroom. And that can be either one classroom or a series of classrooms, a series of entrepreneurs coming into your classroom. And I was talking with Christy in the chat, and she sort of verified for me that once you get a speaker, they really love coming back and that they do come back. It's sort of taking that first step of just asking people in your community if they will help. And it's a big step. And the toolkit does go through step by step what you should do and how to do it. And it includes everything for the teacher, but it also includes some activities for the students. So some of the same things that Patty was talking about. It does include some tips and tricks. It also includes some activities for students to do when the speaker is coming to present to you. And it includes, did I tell you it includes a day-to-day guide? I think I did. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen because I know for me, sometimes you say, oh, it's so easy, you just find it here. But I really want to make sure that everyone here understands where to go once this toolkit is available. So first of all, look at your emails for in the very near future from YEI saying that this toolkit is ready. And once we get those emails out, you'll go to you can find it in two different places. One is the Young Entrepreneur Institute's website, so youngentrepreneurinstitute.org. Then you go to the resources tab, and then you come down here to the EntrepreNEW Pathways program. If you're looking for the Speakers Bureau that Patty was talking about, you click here. The one I'm talking about, bringing in really a lot of community involvement where you as the teacher ask for a specific community member to come into your classroom, you would come here. The other way that you can get to this program is through Yippee, where you go to Yippee Exchange, you go to this shop button, you go to, on the left-hand side, you go to the storefront because you want to go to the Young Entrepreneurs storefront, and then you arrow down to the Pathways program and you click on it. From either of these two locations, you will then be taken to this page, which is a registration for the program. And you can see it's pretty quick and simple. From there, you will be sent a Google link that will look like this, where you can get the full year program or coming soon, the speakers. So this is where you will find this Educator Toolkit, which is coming very soon, along with the problem-solving toolkit. So I'm going to stop real quickly just to make sure there are no questions. Okay. The last thing that I wanted to talk about was this little resource that I found. It is from Advid Open Access. It is a 100% free and open for you guys to use. It's all about how to bring in virtual guest speakers. So the difference here is that we're talking about live people to come into your classroom, not pre-recorded. This particular resource is all about how to access pre-recorded speakers, guest speakers that can come into your classroom. I really liked it and wanted to share it with you, mostly because it has this great list of where you can find some really good speakers, including some entrepreneurial speakers. And then it goes through a bunch of different other elements. I'm going to copy it and put it into the chat just because I did like it and I want to make sure that everyone has a copy of that in case you wanted to welcome virtual guest speakers into your classroom. So I look forward to sharing the Educator Toolkit with everyone and welcome your feedback once it is available. I hope you guys all use it. Thank you.
This is great. Thank you. Awesome. So we have lots of different ways that you can find and use speakers. And of course, we are here to help at all times. Lean on us. That is literally our job to help you find the best ways to help your students. So everybody, thank you to the speakers for coming on and sharing all this information from Yippee to Speakers Bureau to upcoming EntrepreNEW opportunities. I have a few announcements before we head off. Our next Power Hour is going to be on Wednesday, February 26th. That will be focused around young entrepreneur markets and market opportunities. So make sure to save that date. Again, Wednesday, February 26th. On Thursday, March 13th, we have a very exciting event for those who are in Northeast Ohio. We have a live event for educators and community members focused on youth entrepreneurship. We'll have local entrepreneurs Randa Jackson of the Cleveland Cotton Candy Company and Amy Mucha of Daisy Pops, who will talk about their entrepreneurial journeys as well as how you can work with them to bring entrepreneurial education to your students. We hope that you can join us that afternoon. It will be from 4 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, March 13th. And I am going to drop the link to register here in the chat. And I'm going to also share my screen with a slide for, oh, if I can, with a slide for all of our codes and links here. Oh, did it share? No, wrong one. Sorry. Those are the wrong slides. Here we go. So we have the event that I just talked about. And then we also have the code here for the survey for this month's Power Hour. And we're always curious for your feedback on that. So please be honest and share on that survey. And then just like last month, everyone in this session can receive 200 Yippee points for attending this Power Hour. And again, if you have questions about how to register for Yippee or redeem points or anything, please feel free to stay after and ask us. We can guide you through that. And the code is right there at the top. So the code for the Yippee points is Jan25PH. So there's your registration for the Thursday night event, and the link is in the chat in case you want to do that later and take a look at it. The survey QR code is right here and the points code at the top. We also want to remind you that we work with the youth entrepreneur in the youth entrepreneur space every day and can help you with any of these resources. So again, like I said before, please lean on us. We offer consulting services. Don't be shy. And remember to look for the follow-up email so you can get a link to all of our slides and recording and everything from this Power Hour. If you have questions, feel free to stay on or share in the chat, and I will see you next month. Thank you.